Brace yourselves, America, because the ghost of elections past is back, and she's more dangerous than ever. That's right. Hillary Clinton has emerged from the shadows, but this time she's not running for office. She's gunning for your freedom of speech. Clinton is calling for unprecedented censorship, demanding that social media companies silence dissent or face the consequences. The chilling glimpse into the dystopian future that the left envisions. And we've got the exclusive scoop that will make your skin crawl. And just as Hillary Clinton is trying to control the narrative, you need to take control of your safety on the road. With Clinton calling for unprecedented censorship, it's clear that watchful eyes are everywhere, and that's why you need Car Vision X, your personal witness on the road. The state-of-the-art dash cam provides 4K Ultra HD footage, night vision, and 24/7 motion detection. Don't let anyone twist your story. Have irrefutable evidence at your fingertips. Visit carvisionx.com now for free shipping and exclusive bonuses. Protect yourself from those who want to silence the truth on and off the road. So, Elon Musk posts out about 15 hours ago. The left controls almost all legacy media and all major search and social media companies except this one. He's speaking of X. He says, "We strive to be a level playing field for all views. They do not." And he makes he's quote tweeting Peter Sweden that the left is mad and outraged that Elon Musk is supporting Trump. But they're completely silent about George Soros buying 200 radio stations and Google supporting the Democrats. I posted this meme. Yes, they are all laughing at you. And then we told them freedom of speech threatens freedom of speech. And there's all of your favorite partners in crime laughing at you. And here's Hillary Clinton. She says social media companies must censor people's content or else we lose control. These are her words. They lose control.
We should be, in my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm. We should be...
Real harm, she says. Real harm. You know where the real harm is happening? The real harm is happening when CNN and MSNBC continually spew misinformation. That's where the real harm comes from. And it inspires lunatics to go and act out and carry out assassination attempts. And the saddest part is that those very networks get elevated on the YouTube platform. They get elevated on the YouTube platform. I would argue that by elevating that dangerous rhetoric on MSNBC and CNN, that YouTube is in fact complicit in those acts of aggression against our president, because they have modified the algorithm to raise up what they call authoritative voices, in the words of the late Susan Wojcicki. Am I right? Are you following me here? They amplify those voices. Those voices get out into people's heads. Hillary Clinton is worried. She says they're going to lose total control if they don't clamp down. Well, here's the thing. Section 230 gives these platforms total immunity. It does. So then the bigger question is, why are they even bothering to censor content? Well, it's because you have lunatics like Adam Schiff that send letters to YouTube, send letters to X, send letters to Rumble, demanding that they censor content before the election. Because they don't want us questioning anything that they do. No, that's against the rules now in the Democrat playbook. And Hillary Clinton is terrified that they will lose control. But I say the biggest offenders of misinformation and outright disinformation come directly from the authoritative news sources of CNN and MSNBC. Imagine if we just had an open playing field. Imagine if the algorithm was just clean and wide open, like it was back in 2016. We'd be able to speak freely. People could get the information that they need. They don't need to have like little banners underneath that explain every keyword that's mentioned in a video. But that's what Hillary is afraid of, losing total control. Real Robert posted this. Here it is. The two-time failed presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton's own campaign manager, Robby Mook, under oath in a court of law, confirms beyond the shadow of a doubt the Russian collusion hoax, the greatest disinformation campaign and seditious conspiracy in the United States election history, orchestrated, financed, approved by Hillary Clinton to frame Donald Trump and attempting to overthrow the United States government in 2016. And who amplified that narrative? CNN and MSNBC on the very social media platforms that we traverse every day. Let's listen.
Click
off on this. Personally, Hillary Clinton herself.
We've all been watching this for days, and I plan on being there every single day to make sure I hear every bit of testimony. This was amazing. I never heard so many pens click and start immediately writing. I got reporters asking me for clarification. What did that mean? What did that mean? Are they in trouble? And I said, that was very big. That was very big. He just cut it right to the top. And thank you very much, Robby Mook, for what you did today. Made it very clear there was a phone call. She paid Fusion GPS through her campaign, through her lawyers, and that she was actually told that there were papers provided that had not been verified, that she had not, and they said we had no DNS expertise. We just figured the media would take it and do their own vetting. Now, remember, the media that they went to was Slate. It was not the New York Times. It was not the Wall Street Journal, which maybe is a little bit more sophisticated. It was Slate. On top of that, this was the same time that she was deleting emails and that she was having her own problems with her servers. So she and her team have an October surprise. And this has been a real big theme by the Durham team. And it's exactly what happened. And then October 31st, ironically, she retweets Jake Sullivan's tweet that, oh my God, cybersecurity, crimes. Trump has a server with Alpha Bank. Complete lie.
Yeah. There are a couple of quotes I want to highlight for everybody here. The first one I think is from Robby Mook, who in his testimony, and look at what he said here. He said 2 or 3 of the most damaging days of the campaign were caused by Comey, not Trump. And the other one is very interesting, and this goes back a few months, actually, to Hillary Clinton. If the election were on October 27th, I'd be your president, Clinton said in May of 2017.
So the Russia collusion hoax, I know it's been beat to death. I know you're tired of hearing about it. But the fact that the mainstream media amplified the lie and continued to perpetuate that Donald Trump is the greatest threat to democracy and continued to spew violent rhetoric. I mean, even when Trump was elected back in 2016, remember Madonna saying, I have dreams about blowing up the White House? I mean, this dangerous rhetoric has been going on for a very long time. And Hillary Clinton is now terrified that if we counter that dangerous rhetoric because we want peace and we want everyone to get along and we want to have a fair playing field, and we want to correct the narrative, that they're going to lose total control. I mean, it blows my mind. Now, a couple weeks ago, I interviewed Senator Brian Hughes of Texas. You may have missed the interview. You need to go back on the channel and take a look for this interview. It was very, very important because it talks about how Texas is taking a stand against Google and YouTube and the other social media networks. And very specifically, this channel, this Next News Network YouTube channel, who's been now demonetized for over 21 months. We're currently in review. On September 12th, I submitted the channel back for a review. and I haven't heard back. So Texas is now investigating this. They've sent documents to Google, document requests to Google and YouTube. And from what I understand, our own channel was mentioned in those documents as to why they demonetized this channel and why they continue to keep it demonetized after being in good standing for over 12 years. Anyway, here's Senator Brian Hughes firing back at Kamala Harris calls to restrict speech. Now, before I play Hughes, let's listen to Kamala.
We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
Oh, are you? Well, let's see what Texas is doing. Here is Senator Brian Hughes.
And let people make the answer to bad speech is more speech, not enforced silence. The vice president's calling for speech police, calling for the feds to say what you can say, what you can't say. We're calling for more speech, even speech we disagree with. The Supreme Court got that right in that concurring opinion decades ago when they said the answer to bad speech is more speech, not enforced silence. Let's get all the ideas out there, all the viewpoints out there, and let people make their own decisions. I'm so glad you mentioned that. We are not pushing for what the vice president's talking about. She has a fundamental misunderstanding of free speech. The answer
she does have a fundamental misunderstanding. And in case you missed it, J.D. Vance, during that debate, called out Tim Walz for this statement.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Kamala, the most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Tim Walz getting his butt handed to him. Now here's Elon Musk. Remember this?
Free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
I love it. He said that point. The Second Amendment is there to ensure we have the First Amendment. Well, if you're wondering where all this is coming from, it's not just the Democrats. They're all in lockstep with the globalists. But here is the EU president, Ursula von der Leyen, and the World Economic Forum pushing dangerous rhetoric disguised as protecting democracy. This was published to the World Economic Forum's social media page. Check it out.
It clearly, what is illegal offline should be illegal online too. And we want the platforms to be transparent about how their algorithms work. Because we cannot accept that decisions that have a far-reaching impact on our democracy are taken by computer programs alone. We want it clearly laid down that internet companies take responsibility for the manner in which they disseminate, promote, and remove content. We need to contain this immense power of the big digital companies, because we want the values we cherish in the offline world also to be respected online. The storming of the Capitol came as a shock to me. I mean, we are always quick to say democracy and values, they are part of our DNA, and that's true. But we must nurture our democracy every day and defend our institutions against the corrosive power of hate speech, of disinformation, fake news, and incitement to violence.
We must protect our institutions because you cannot question the narrative. You cannot. You must believe us.
And in a world where polarizing opinions are the loudest, it is a short step from crude conspiracy theories to the death of a police officer.
The Davos agenda. Wonderful. So there you have it, friends. That's it. Hillary Clinton freaking out about losing total control. People complaining about Elon Musk. At least Texas is stepping up. And we got Elon, we got J.D. Vance, we got Trump. They all recognize this big threat. And it's all coming right down from the top. Right from the top of the globalist order. Hillary Clinton calls for social platforms like X to censor and monitor content, warning that if they don't, we lose control. So Hillary Clinton, not content with her failed presidential bids, is now openly calling for the silencing of dissent. It's not just about control. It's about reshaping the fabric of our republic. The question is, where does it end? But now I want to hear from you. How far do you think this push for censorship will go? What can average Americans do to protect their right to free speech? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this crucial conversation going.